Hello, hello, hello. Let me make sure that these teams are on the right side. No, they're wrong. I gotta flip them. PPB, TTK. And playlist I'm listening to today is right here. First, we see a Yasuo ban against Nero. What they don't realize is that Nero is actually playing support for this first game, interestingly enough, while the Alistar gets banned away from River Otter. Don't know if that's something that he's played before. It's news to me, certainly. The Talon gets banned. Again, Nero is playing support in this game. I just confirmed with Shrome that he's going to be playing AD. Lexi's going to be playing mid. So it's a bit of a change up for TTK. What's very interesting though is that the Smolder has yet to be banned as one of the highest win rates in the game right now. As Fiora gets banned away from, I believe Len is playing top lane in this series. Okay. So the Samira was hovered, and then we get a Pike, which is going to be Nero's Pike. He's played it before when he was subbing for, I think, Bubba. And it was really nice and aggressive early, but it wasn't able to transition to the mid to late game as it just got outscaled, as the Pike tends to get outscaled, unfortunately. It's a very interesting and creative pick, but something like a Smolder is just going to always outscale it, as Mundo gets locked in second. Mundo can easily be flexed between top and jungle. Nice front line, but the Smolder has pretty decent true damage, and just having a simple tank without really hardcore engage, like a Malphite or a Ornn, just allows Smolder more or less to free fire in team fights. The Taric locked in second into the Pike. It's interesting. Usually you see more aggressive AD carry picks when paired with the Taric. Things like Callista or unless I can't think of any others. Maybe Samira. But yeah, the Samira is going to be Sharon. So he finally gets to lock in the champ he's been wanting to play for a while now. But as many other players who are of higher rank than him have mentioned in the past, this champ feels awful to play. It is very, very high risk and low reward champ. It certainly can carry games, but they're just all reliable and a lot safer front to back from Smolder, Taric, Nunu. They can play a lot slower, while the Samira Pike has to play a lot faster, as they get outscaled so quickly that don't if they don't if they don't punish the Smolder Taric lane hard enough in lane, then they have no chances of really being able to come back easily. Yeah, the Victor and Zillion bans. Those are two comfort picks for Pop Wand, as the brand gets banned away from Lexi, as Lexi's going to be playing mid this series, or this specific game. They could certainly change it for next game. and the Vi banned away from Dark One as they suspected that Mundo could be top lane, and it looks like we still have more flexes as the Mundo and Quinn can both be flexed between the two roles. Quinn jungle has been made somewhat viable or playable as in the most recent patch as they buffed it a tiny bit. Is it good? Don't look at the win rate, and it might be good. As Orianna gets locked in. Another comfort pick for Pop 1 is that it provides a decent amount of damage as well as further engage, as the Nunu, Taric, Orianna are going to be pretty decent in that regard. So at this point in time, more damage would probably be pretty nice, but PP Bandit is not a top main, so curious to see what he ends up picking into the blind of Quinn and Mundo. And Swain being locked in does mean that they're very AP heavy, which Mundo really likes to play into, but the squishiness of red side really doesn't mean that they can easily itemize against a very magic damage heavy team comp. As the Smolder should be able to reliably get through Mundo as the game progresses, and the Malzahar locked in just to be a champ that can shove lane and provide the ultimate spell to lock down enemy carries as the game progresses. I think blue side, their team comp hard outscales. There's not a single scaling champ on red side outside of Mundo. But if red side is able to get early leads and transition them effectively, they certainly could sneak a win. But the potential early ganks from Nunu are certainly going to go unmatched, as Mundo certainly doesn't have the gank potential of the Nunu. If it is Mundo. I believe it should be Mundo. It shouldn't be Quinn Jungle, because Quinn Jungle it's 40% win rate, while Mundo has been a pretty stable jungler for a while now. But we'll see. We got time. Time to think. The biggest problem with Quinn in this specific draft is I don't think Quinn's good into Swain top. As the Swain can easily just outrange, and even if the Quinn does press E on the Swain can easily respond with Izzy and have a free hit skill shot to lock down the Quinn and blow his load on her. Take that as you will. I do feel like the Mundo into Swain would be significantly better. It's not like a hard stomping lane, but he can't easily get punished because Swain's only form of CC is his E, and Mundo's passive, of course, can block that. But then you have Quinn in the jungle. And once she hits 6, she will have really good mobility around the map, but until that point in time, she's just a worse form of Kindred, essentially, as her kit's decent, but it's more sustained damage and really poor ganks until, again, that level 6 when she's able to move around the map quite quickly, comparable to the Nunu's speed that he gets very, very early with his W. I'm really interested to see how the bot lane goes this specific game. As Samira Pike into Smolder Taric. The Samira Pike certainly should have an edge in early game, but again, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so it is the Quinn top, which makes a lot more sense. He can play super aggressive early, especially with the Ignite and Electrocute, looking for a kill onto the Swain, and try and snowball that lane, and then roam around the map and influence it quite heavily.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
Mono's going to be spotted out early on his chickens, as Nuna's trying to get a nice deep ward to ensure that Mundo does start there, or get a better understanding of where he's going to be pathing this game, as they do see him path up to his red buff. And so now, this makes it very clear that both the Nunu and Mundo are going to be playing for bot lane this game, which again I do feel is the most important lane in this specific game. It could certainly change in the following game, as Red Side's team does enjoy changing up the roles every now and then. Nice hook from the Pyke onto the Smolder, but not going to be able to get anything done as the Taric has a nice stun on the Smear and she gets chunked down to half health already. A bad look for the 2v2 between the Taric Smolder and the Pyke Samira. As again, this Samira lane really needs to get ahead early, and if it's not able to do that and it keeps getting chunked out early, then I don't see them having any position to actually carry this game. As nice engage onto the Taric does a blow flash, as the Samira flashes immediately after him. It looks like the Pyke is going to potentially be able to pick up that kill, as the Swain does barely live, and the Smolder able to avoid that hook from Pyke. Now they're looking for a re-engage, and the Taric is still only level 1. The Pyke flashes forward, gets a nice E, and the Samira is able to get the first kill of the game. Really good start, as it did look quite dire. Nice barrier from the Smolder ensures that he's not able to get taken down, and the Samira dies to that turret shot, giving over a response kill to the Smolder, and he is the only individual left with a summoner spell as the Pyke jumps him and secures his second kill for his team. A lot of trading going on in the mid lane as the Orianna is trying to deal with all this wave clear that Malzahar has, but also still being able to chunk him quite a bit. Strong early start for Red Side, as in the bot lane they were able to get nearly all the summoner spells and 2 kills for themselves. As Taric feels confident that he's going to be able to easily walk up here, as the Pyke is incredibly low HP. Maybe able to kill this Pyke by himself, and he is able to secure that kill, but trading a kill back over onto the Samira, further snowballing her. Unsure if that was worth at the end of the day, as Nunu is now here, unspotted, but the Mundo is going to see him as he's going to be going to the river, but he can't be slowed. Samira no flash, no barrier here. Pops her W and not able to block that. You have to wait until the Nunu's W has fully left his character model, and so that's another kill given over to the Smolder. First nice gank of the game. Of course, it's the Nunu, as the Nunu is able to secure the bot crab, likely able to play for the top crab as well, so double crabbing this Mundo here. But again, the Taric is a little bit out of position, way too aggressive, not realizing that the Mundo and Pyke are out of base. But the Smolder should be able to secure a kill onto the Mundo, and he is able to do so, further increasing the lead. Getting quite a lot of gold. Curious to see how both junglers look. Knowing that top crab is available, but Mundo's second clear is respawning now. Gold dead even. 4 kills to 4, about 8,500 gold for either team. Next drag spawning in 40 seconds. First drag of the game. Nunu should be on that, on spawn. He might be a little bit delayed as he had to recall quite late. But then Mundo is going to avoid clearing his camps and instead going to prio enabling his top laner, but his top laner is going to be stuck under a turret trying to CS his minions, so wasting a lot of time here. Could definitely be looking for the top crab, but again, he is quite delayed on his second clear, so going to be quite far behind this Nunu. And he's just staying in top lane. Again, wasting so much time here so that the Nunu is able to clear his Gromp and now eventually his wolves into his chickens, and then theoretically look for the drag here as we get a trade of flashes instantaneously, one after the other in mid lane. Now Nunu is just going to be able to start up this drag as he does have bot prio. Looks like Pyke and Samira are just going to be shoving this lane to try and force the Smolder to lose a little bit of CS here, but it likely will not amount to anything more than 1 CS, as the Pyke was looking for something onto the Taric, as the Nunu is cornered here in between a rock and a hard place, more specifically the Malzahar and a Pyke, and the Quinn comes down here as well to ensure that she secures that kill for her time invested. But unsure if that was truly necessary. Gives the Swain a little bit more free time in lane. But I imagine we're going to see a lot more roaming around the map because of this Quinn's level 6. Pyke's looking for something here as the Samira is just now able to hit level 5. At level 6 is what they're looking for to really be able to snowball this lane, as the Smolder's going to have to flash away from that engagement with the Samira and Pyke, but the Nunu is right around the corner. The exhaust popped on the Samira. The Samira is getting chunked out quite heavily by the Taric, as the Pyke is going to be able to hit a hook onto this Taric, but kill given over to blue side, yet again evening up the kill score. Unfortunately for red side, blue side was able to secure the first drag of the game, Mountain Drag. And the grubs have yet to spawn, so nothing to be able to take into response. Yeah, seeing a pick like Nunu in this big of a game as Quinn flashes forward, burns Ignite as well to secure that kill onto the Swain. The aggression coming out of red side is absolutely necessary for their chances of victory in this first game. So I definitely like that flash engage play there. Pyke's looking for something mid onto the Orianna. The Orianna is way too far forward, not realizing that the support is off map. Takes the turret shot there. Is going to get CC'd by the Pyke hook. Barely not able to avoid it as she's going to pop her ult, looking for a kill onto the Malzahar. The Malzahar doesn't have any mana here, and the Pyke is yet to hit level 6 as well, so Pyke comes here for no purpose, as the Nunu is going to flash out of the Quinn, knowing that the Quinn doesn't have flash there, and secures a kill. Very bloody game so far. 12 kills, 8 minutes. Now Nunu is going to be threatening top crab, as the Taric flashed a little bit late after his E had already run out, so unable to secure a stun onto the Pyke. And likely wouldn't have netted anything anyways, as the Orianna had no mana and wasn't really in position to be able to punish the Pyke. Mundo's trying to do something up here, but he doesn't have members nearby as the Quinn's just now coming out of base. The Malzahar and Pyke are coming straight through mid lane. The Taric is also here, so a bit of a 3v2 at the very start. They're able to secure one. They should be able to smite the second one. And Nunu is able to secure all 3 here. Now they're looking for a fight onto this Mundo. The Mundo is level 6 though. And the Swain's going to be in the middle of all 3 members. It's going to be a 3-on-3 at the very start. And the Swain gets popped immediately. Then we're going to pop the Malzahar ult onto the Taric and secure that kill for Mundo. As the Nunu's going to try and avoid further damage as he lives for longer than he should, but does get eventually taken down by the Quinn as the Mundo's going to be invading and taking Ninu's top camps. Right now, Smolder's at 65 stacks, so not stacking great. But it's a hard lane for him really to stack into, as if he goes a little bit too far forward, then he can easily get punished. Especially since the Taric has been roaming around the map quite a bit to match the Pike roams. So right now the strongest member on Red Side's team is certainly this Quinn. Had a very nice early lead and is looking to transition it into the bot lane as the Pike is looking for something onto the Taric. Is able to hit the E after avoiding that Taric E, as he's not going to be able to get his ult off quite in time. So Taric yet again gets taken down. Again, a little bit too aggressive. Not realizing the Quinn was off map, as that's something you certainly have to pay attention to, as the Orianna potentially going to get ganked here. She saw the Quinn coming over the ward, but it's just going to get chunked down a tiny bit. And so this is just how Quinn's going to be the rest of the game, as the Quinn pops Ignite. It secures a kill onto the Orianna. Again, a little bit too aggressive from this Orianna. Getting punished. Finally, as the previous time. Oh, nice hook onto this Smolder. This is going to be stuck over the wall. This Samir's looking for a kill here. Mana takes that one as well. As the second drag of the game, Cloud Dragon, it looks like it's going to be Ocean Soul this game. Honestly, probably favoring blue side more than red, as yet again, blue side is a scaling team. Obviously, the Malzahar is going to be ulting the Orianna under a tower. He's going to have to flash away from that Orianna ult, as likely would have gotten taken down. His Malzahar has no mana. Taric gets hooked yet again by the Pike, and now we're looking for something out of the Taric. The Taric is quite tanky though, as he does have Lock at first item. And then he's not going to fall a sixth time quite yet, as the Pike takes an unnecessary turret shot for the level of the game. Misses hook onto the Taric, but again, they're not going to look for any sort of kills there, as the Ninu is down here. Swain gets a nice root onto the Quinn. Unfortunately not able to hit that W, so the Quinn is able to easily walk it out. Looks like the Pike is leading for something yet again onto the Smolder, but the Nunu at the same time is leading for something mid lane. This Malzahar doesn't have flash or ult. Unfortunately, the Orianna is just way too far away. The Nunu's going to pop his ult to live a little bit longer. Then the Malzahar barely avoids death, as the Mundo's going to pop his ult to try and chase down this Nunu. Is going to miss that Q onto the Mundo, onto the Nunu, I mean. He's going to get out of there scot-free. As Swain's leading for something into the Mundo doesn't have Ghost or ult. Now Smolder and Terror looking for something under the Samira, and the ult is popped. Samira's ult is also popped to try and do some good damage, but the Taric and Pike both traded at the very start. The Samira ult is going to be popped yet again, and Smolder having to flash out is the only survivor. As now we're seeing Swain looking on to the Quinn. Quinn does have flash to be able to get out of here if she decides it's necessary, but instead is going to hold it. Smolder trying to get something onto the Samira. But if he walks a little bit too far forward, he can easily get blown up, and he does get taken down by the Smolder. I mean, the Samira. This point in the game is the really only hard part of the 2v2, is the Nunu's looking for a kill into the Samira is going to be able to hit that snowball. Not quite. is able to slow her down, though, as the Malzahar ult is going to be used onto the Orion, as the Pyke is also looking to secure a kill, but the Orion had to blow flash there. Quinn TPing down here is going to be looking for something onto the Nunu and Taric, but it's going to be quite hard for her to continue advancing, as Pyke is right around the corner. Should be able to hit a nice hook here, but they do have individuals behind them, as the Pyke's just going to get blown up after he saw the Nunu and Smolder right around the corner. Malzahar taking turret shot for the love of the game. Mundo's hovering, but he is on a ward. So 15 minutes in the game. The Smolder has 110 stacks. That 125 mark is what we're really looking for. Afterwards, it's 225, as the Quinn's going to be looking to run down this Orianna. Orianna, no mana here, does have ult, but Malzar's going to be taking turret for a little while. It seems like the new node is a little too indecisive about which target he was looking for, as he could have certainly looked on the Malzahar, as that likely would have been the only target he could have easily killed, but instead is just going to try and get out of there, as the Pyke is not going to be invading him, while the Quinn and Malzahar are threatening mid-turret. Looks like the Nunu was spotted there, but the Pyke was also somewhat spotted, as the Nunu is just going to be hovering mid-turret to try and ensure that that doesn't get taken down. But unfortunate for him, the advances of Quinn and Malzahar are just too significant, as Nunu is going to be pathing back. He runs into a wall, but he's still going to be pathing towards his chickens and his bot side, while the Smolder is going to be able to collect this mid-wave, and yet again, get him closer and closer to that really, really important 225 stacks that he needs to get to really threaten enemy combatants as the game progresses, as the Samira is trading a little bit with the Swain here. Swain running out of mana, should be able to just reset. Maybe Smolder's going to be transitioned to top lane, but instead blue side is going to be looking to take this turret while they see the Mundo, Samira, and Pyke on the top side of the map. Potentially looking to dive here onto the Swain. Swain does have ult and flash if he's trying to live as long as he possibly can. Could certainly just clear this wave, as the Pyke's going to take a turret shot. And the turret not yet taken down, but they are able to take down the Swain. Potentially didn't have enough mana to be able to pop ult. Very unfortunate turn of events. But they were able to pick up their second drag of the game. So if they're able to play for Soul, that would be a nice way to transition them into the late game. As they are certainly a scaling team comp with early team comp elements. Moon just coming for above. It is a 4v3 at the start in favor of the red side, and nice Orianna ult onto this Pyke, but he's barely able to get away as Malzahar had to flash out. Malzahar no ult there. Smolder pops his ult, trying to look for something out of the Mundo pops ult, and now we're going to get it's more engaged, as the Samira is going to be able to pop her ult, and barely Taric falls barely to the Quinn after the Samira is able to deal the majority of his health bar. Now Quinn's looking to re-engage, as they don't have any minions here. The Mundo doesn't have ults, unfortunately, for red side, though. And so a re-engage coming in from the Quinn and the Pyke, but unfortunately the Pyke is a little bit too low, looking for something out of the Nunu. The hook is hit, and Pyke not able to secure that kill, but the Smolder auto attack ensures the Pyke does get traded back over, as 3 kills for 1 in favor of blue side. And now they are certainly seeing the scaling impact of their team comp, as Smolder is... I have to keep checking, I keep turning my mouse off. 165 stacks, getting closer and closer, as team fights will certainly get harder and harder, as the current build for Smolder has a lot of health in it, making it a lot harder for red side team comp, which is very burst heavy, to burst something down that is a significant amount of health, more than the previous builds, which are a lot squishier. As you can see, the Collector, i.e. of Samira, not nearly as tanky as Black Cleaver and eventually Shojin, I believe. Nice E from the Swain onto the Samira, as we're getting some good damage done. Slow forces the Samira to flash out. as the Taric stun would have likely led to her death, as Pyke and Mundo are hovering. Nuna's looking for something out of the Mundo, is just going to be able to break his passive, and the Nuna's going to be CC'd down for a little bit from this Pyke, as the Taric is going to be providing him a little bit of support, looking for something out of the Mundo, but the Mundo is getting lower and lower, doesn't have ult quite yet, and so they are just going to control this area, and the Mundo gets yet again quite low, is going to be able to pop his ult to live a little bit longer. The Pyke's going to have to flash out, the Smolder's going to be able to free fire in the back line, the Samira is going to be able to get taken out at the very start of this fight, and the Mundo pops soon afterwards, as no objectives are yet to spawn, as the Nuna's going to get hooked by the Pyke, but not really going to be able to get anything done. Flashes away from that Pyke ult to ensure that he doesn't get taken down, as the Malzahar gets a nice ult off to this Orion, and the Orion tanks everything and gets traded back over. But before, there was a little bit of a gold discrepancy in favor of red side, where red was up about 3k gold. Now they're only up about 1,500 gold, and Smolder gets closer and closer to that lovely 225 mark, 225 threshold. But we're already seeing how difficult these team fights are going to be for the Samira to play, as she really needs so much going for her to be able to perform in these team fights that it's generally just not worth playing the champ whatsoever unless you just really want to play it. Especially seeing the tab eyes purchase from Samira, as the majority of the damage she's going to be taking is magic damage. And I would much rather see the Merc tries as the Pyke gets a nice hook off to the Taric. The Taric's going to be CC'd for quite a long time. He's going to be trying to get out of here as best as he can. Samira jumps forward and is able to take that kill. All while the Orion is threatening top turret. And just looking for something out of the Quinn, and the Quinn's going to be able to barely avoid the snowball, as Pyke is spotted. But a lot of vision in favor of red side, as the Pyke's going to look for a hook onto the Swain, and it's going to be avoided, as the CC from that Swain E is going to be able to ensure that he is not able to get out of there. The new snowball, Malzahar Silence is going to be able to cancel him. Now blue side continuing to look for something here. It is a 3-on-3. Malzahar no ult. Mundo's a little bit stuck here, but unfortunately they don't have the most damage in the world here, as this one's going to be sitting in the middle of 3 people. This Samira's going to be able to press W to block some damage, but she just gets blown up. As again, she doesn't have any magic resist, as that's the big thing she really should be looking to purchase this game. The Smolder flashes forward to secure a kill into Malzahar. Curious to see if he ever gets punished in the future, but again, he is quite a nice front line, as Swain's going to be building Frozen Heart next. And the Swain keeps hitting all those poles. And now finally blue side a gold lead, about 700 gold, as well as 3 dragons to 1 and 3 grubs to none. Pyke looking for something. The aggression of this Pyke has certainly been nice to see, as it's a nice change of pace from these more coordinated games. Especially knowing the win conditions of the team comp, as the Quinn and Pyke have been roaming around quite a bit to try and snowball their team. But unfortunately, it's not panned out the way they've hoped. Is Taric just blind E the Pyke there? That was strange. Oh, interesting. It looks like the Smolder ended up going for Endless Hunger third rather than the Shojin immediately. But he eventually will be building Shojin, so quite a bit of survivability, as well as Omnivamp from his boots and from Endless Hunger, as blue side now looking to threaten Baron, as all vision fully cleared out. The Malzahar is not going to be there in time. Does have TP if required, but the Orianna doesn't have TP. So if they're able to blow this Malzahar TP, which they do, curious to see if they're looking to just get out of there as best as they can, knowing that the Orianna can't be here to match that Malzahar. So now Oriana's going to be running straight through mid lane, and blue side is trying to avoid the aggression from red side as the Pyke was looking for something there, but just going to be able to get out of there. As the Mundo is now in a little bit of a pickle as he pops ult to ensure that he lives a little bit longer than he should. And now the Malzahar ult popped onto the Smolder. The Smolder's going to die at the very start of the fight. A nice engage from the Pyke, Malzahar, and Samira as they get a really nice engage. Taric ult finally pops, so that means the Nunu and the Taric are going to live a little bit longer than they should. But low health bars as the Orianna was barely able to avoid death from this Quinn, as Quinn played that so incredibly aggressive, but just didn't quite have the damage on this Orianna, as a incredibly poor start for blue side goes incredibly far in their favor, as the Nunu goes a little bit to the right and so avoids that Taric, but this Mundo, no ult, 1 HP, gets taken down with the Taric. Now you gotta think, that's the best engage red side possibly could have had. Do they play a little bit too aggressive at certain points? Of course. But I don't foresee them ever getting a chance again where the Smolder is that far forward and that easily able to be ulted by Malzahar, as that certainly should be their target in all of these team fights. As long as blue side just keeps maintaining a nice front to back, I certainly like them going forward, as the Baron's going down to 4k, 3k, Swain's on the outskirts of this fight, 2k, Mundo's still dead. The smite popped way too early and Malzahar steals it. Oh no. Jordan. And a massive gold swing in favor of red side. The Nunu smited way too early. Nunu, one of the best junglers in the game at securing objectives. Oh no. That is a massive gold swing that red side really desperately needed. Soul is spawning in 20 seconds, so that is a nice objective to play for blue side, as the Samira, Malzahar, and Mundo are still yet to reset, as red side continues to pressure, but they don't have their gold that they just received spent quite yet, as Anona's going to be flashing onto the Quinn looking for a kill. Not quite yet, but should be taken down eventually, as red side now going to be threatening this drag here. This is the best chance for blue side to be able to secure this soul, as the gold that they got from stealing Baron and from essentially acing blue side has yet again not been spent. It's only been spent by this Samira. So a lot of gold, 1k, 2k, 3k. So it's about 4k in gold that's not spent, so meaning that blue side is only down about 1k, especially now that they have a 5v4 in their favor. The Nunu doesn't have ult here, so he's going to get engaged on the very start. The Pyke is going to be able to get a nice kill as the Taric ult is popped. Samira is not going to be able to combo correctly, so she's not going to be able to pop her ult as she gets taken down. And now the Mouse has to flash away from that Swain as they are slowly advancing, knowing heal cut for this Mundo. So the Mundo's going to try and walk away as the Swain pops flash and uses the ult to slow down the Mundo, and they secure a team fight win, down a significant amount of gold, but their jungler is dead for 20 seconds. Pyke's looking for something here, but he is noticed. No ult. The only way you can potentially steal this is by a random Q over the wall, but instead the Quinn's going to be threatening this mid inhib. That's a nice Swainy, as somehow PP literally cannot miss these Swain pulls. But they are going to be trading their mid inhib. At the end of the day, incredibly worth it, as Pyke is able to hit a hook onto the Smolder here, and the Nunu is going to be advancing onto the Quinn, yet again trying to get this kill here. Does have ult, but the nice E from the Quinn ensures that she doesn't get taken down, as the Pyke is going to get chased down. Luckily able to avoid them, as Nunu's oh so close to hitting that snowball onto the Quinn. And the Quinn's move speed that she gets at this point in the game at level 16, level 3 ult, means that she is quite mobile. They are only down 3k gold. They are up 4 dragons to 1. Elder spawning in 5 minutes. Baron spawning in 240. Samira on side. Again, if they are able to pop this Samira, that is a lot of their gold lead. It's a little bit of their gold lead. 1,700 gold. There's 400 gold lead in jungle. 400 gold lead in mid lane. And blue side has a 3,000, nearly 2,000, like 2,200 gold lead in the jungle. While top lane's down a little bit, but he's playing pretty much tanky Swain, so it's not really the end of the world that he's down that much gold. Is the Orianna going to get engaged on by the Quinn and narrowly able to avoid death. And Quinn is going to be caught here. Only the Nunu though, as again no objectives are up quite yet. Orianna TPing in, looking for something under the Quinn. All at the same time, the Smolder, Taric, and Swain could get engaged on with this Pyke and Samira. Malzahar does have Volt. We're in the middle of 5 people for this Quinn. The Quinn doesn't have flash to get away. Well, she does, but she's not close enough to get flash over that wall. And a nice kill to start the team fight in favor of blue side. The Pyke's not going to be nearby his team. And again, the Swain's able to hit a nice E onto this Taric, onto the Mundo. And so the Taric's able to hit the E onto the Mundo. The Mundo does pop ult at nearly full HP, so not going to be benefiting from his ult as much as he possibly can, as you usually want to be popping your ult at your lowest health bar possible. Especially when blue side doesn't have any healing cut outside of Thornmail on Nunu, and a Mundo that's going to be running away is not really going to be looking to auto attack the Nunu. It's now Ocean Soul for blue side, Taric ult available, Orianna ult, Nunu ult, Smolder ult. Nice hook onto the Nunu, but it's not going to be able to net anything. So Mundo's going to be dead for 15 seconds. They should be able to at least take this tower, potentially threaten the inhib itself. As Quinn just now spawns. Again, they don't have any tanky frontline available for them at this moment. Mundo just now respawned. Pyke hook a little bit short. They're going to try and chase. But blue side has so many different tools available to them to prevent red side from being able to easily engage. Pyke noticed and popped. Very, very, very greedy positioning as the Nunu's link for some onto the Mundo. The Mundo slow is not going to be able to do anything as Nunu's W prevents that from slowing. Now they're looking onto the Baron. They should know that this is happening, but the Smolder's not going to be here quite in time. Again, Swainy hit onto the Mundo. Nice Taric onto the Mundo. The Mundo does have ult and Ghost to be able to get out of here if required. Again, no real heal cut from blue side, as the Smolder is getting threatened by the Quinn. At the same time as the Mundo gets taken down, the Smolder gets taken down, narrowly taking down the Quinn at the same time, as the Samira in the middle of 4 people does literally no damage and gets taken down in a 1v4 situation. Looking for something onto the Quinn and Malzahar. The Nunu is snowballing at them. And Quinn tanks it, trying to allow the Malzahar to get away, but instead just ends up killing himself. And Malzahar falls soon afterwards. As the gold almost back to even yet again. Now we should be able to see a Baron threatened yet again, but the Mundo is going to be spawning in 10 seconds. Silly little Len. He thought his Edge of Night was off cooldown. Poor fella. And Pyke's looking to stop them from taking Baron, but it is too little too late as the Baron is taken down in favor of blue side. And gold dead even. Baron, Soul, Elder on the horizon in 40 seconds. Blue side have all the options in the world. Mundo and Trebush is spotted by blue side. So it looks like they are going to be threatening this LD here in 10 seconds. First, looking to clear out this vision. And Mundo is in a little bit of a strange position. Just looking for a flank for some reason, but he is the front line for his team. So it's pretty much impossible for his team to really get in there without him in front of them. And the Smolder is going to be able to pop this Quinn at the very start, and the Mundo likely going to be taken down soon afterwards. He pops his ult and just goes to get away narrowly as the Nunu, Smolder, and Tarek continue their advance as the Smira yet again jumps in the middle of several members and just gets blown up. Very strange to see that the tanky front line of blue side of Swain, Nunu, Tarek, the Smira decided to build to avoid building LDR until 5th item. Very, very greedy purchase, as I don't believe this BT has really been providing any specific value in these team fights, as there's just no damage. So blue side should just be able to end this game here now that they have Elder. Pike hooks the Nunu. Terribly for something, but it barely able to miss. As the Nunu is going to be the first person to secure a kill onto the Pike, and now we're leaving for something onto the Malzahar and the Quinn, as the Smolder deals so much damage that the Swing's going to be able to secure the kill there. And the Smolder kills the third, as the Mundo does get taken down by the Smolder, and the Ori takes the Quinn. And this 35-minute game is going to go in favor of blue side. I would say MVP, I think the Nunu and Smolder have certainly been a problem for red team to address, but the Nunu really got them through the early to mid phase. Everyone played the good on blue side though. Now we can change this. Oh, I'm wrong. Oops. And it looks like they're going to be swapping their roles around. Your ears do not deceive you. Give you a rating. You played fine early to mid. and late you played really bad. If you're playing against tanks, you have to build LDR sooner. When you build Bloodthirster, it's just pointless. For survivability to be worth it, you need to be able to be pumping out damage, and you certainly weren't. They're just messing around on stream. Holy. All the EU lads are just. Actually, Jordan's the reason why we're not starting. Holy Jordan. Curious to see what PP's Banditos is going to play in the jungle now, as the really aggressive and gank heavy jungle of Nunu has very few comparable picks in terms of pacing. Jordan has to get back to World of Warcraft? No, no, no. He needs to stay away. It's not healthy for him. I tried to save him, but he couldn't help himself. We see Emilio banned away. That's a bit of a strange ban. But the Yone banned away from Nero, the Zeri banned away from Lexi, and LeBlanc banned away from Papawand. Has he played that before? Also going to be looking to ban away the Karma, a more aggressive enchanter pick. Very, very different from the Taric that was picked last game. But Lexi and Sharon are likely to be playing a lot safer of a lane rather than play as aggressively as that Samira and Pike lane were, as the Caitlyn's going to get banned away. The two comfort picks banned away from Lexi, and the previous game they banned quite a few champs away from Nero's champ pool, so curious to see what he ends up picking. As there are 3 role swaps for this specific game, shown to support Lexi to AD and Nero to mid lane, as Ashe gets locked in. Ashe pretty strong early, always has pretty good utility as the game progresses, but the amount of damage output tends to be more limited than a hyper carry such as the Smolder or things like Tristana, Kog'Maw, Twitch, Jinx. As I do respond with the Jinx to somewhat match Ashe's range. Best girl on God. Okay, man. As Thresh gets locked in. Very nice, safe lane. As the immobile Jinx really struggles to deal with CC, such as this Ashe and Seraphine is likely going to be. So I like the pickup, should he's able to survive the advances of them, as long as they position correctly. But this Ashe Seraphine lane is going to be quite hard early. I'd like to see the Jinx take cleanse this game. As Jace is hovered, it very likely will be top lane if it's locked in. So we're going to see Pantheon locked in. This could be swapped between jungle and top. I imagine it's going to be jungle though. A Pantheon picked into Thresh is not a great pick, as Thresh can easily flay the Pantheon away. It's very one-dimensional in terms of how he ganks, at least until he gets his ult. Then it's a little bit more creative, but his ult is also very telegraphed. So the Syndra Thresh Jinx, I really do like into that Pantheon. But yeah, it looks like the Syndra's locked in to ensure that Pop 1 wasn't going to get banned out further. As Zed gets banned away, I don't believe Nero plays that. Your kidneys hurt. That's awesome. Don't worry, I'm sure we can get Demi to sub for you. He's a really good top laner. As the Maokai gets banned away. Pretty nice form of engage. This makes sense. Jax gets banned away. I guess they're kind of assuming that this Pantheon could be flexed between multiple roles, and Len on Jax would be a bit annoying, but again, I feel like Jax has the same problems as Pantheon when it comes to engaging, as a Thresh, Syndra have really good ways to disengage his advances, while the Jinx traps also prevent it quite well. Your Aurelia. Yeah, I don't think they want to play with your Aurelia, little bro. The Wukong gets banned away again. Yeah, curious to see what Red Side is looking to lock in here. A Mumu. Gonna be a nice form of engage. And tankiness. As right now, Red Side's damage of Syndra and Jinx is already quite sufficient. That's nice. Yeah, we should now see where the Pantheon is going. As Akali's going to be locked in. Akali's pretty nice into the Syndra. She's able to avoid Syndra's E. And she can certainly threaten kills. And threaten the backline as the game progresses. And Cassante locked in last. Really nice blind, very tanky top laner. And relatively strong top laner as well. Curious to see what red side's going to look to pick into it. As I know PP's Swain obviously now gone. And looks like we're going to pick Soraka. I honestly don't hate it. Really going to need to see some early heal cut coming out of blue side's team comp. The person who's going to be able to proc it the easiest is going to be the Ashe because of her W. Very, very hard for red side to avoid. I'm curious to see how punished the Soraka is going to be, as I imagine BB Bandit is going to be playing relatively safe in lane, more or less like last game, but not going to have nearly as much survivability as he did on the Swain, now on the Soraka. And so red side now kind of giving up a front line, or a very heavy 3-man front line, 2-man back line for a more creative team comp. While blue side is now sporting that heavier front line that they were missing from last game. Maybe making it a little bit easier for them to play front to back. Oh, you and your fascinations with League characters. You strange fella. True. Very true, PP. Yeah, this game's going to be a little bit of a flip in terms of which team comes easier to play, as now TTK has quite a bit easier time playing the standard front to back if they're able to get that, while red side just more or less looking to peel for their backline with Soraka silent, Soraka slow, all the healing in her kit. As well as the peel that Syndra E provides, Amumu's Q and ult, Thresh hook, Thresh ult, Thresh E. It is quite hard for blue side to be able to easily access the backline, but they certainly can with Cassante, Ashe, Seraphine, literally every single member of their team is pretty decent engage. So both team comps really one-dimensional in terms of what they want to do. It's not a bad thing. It just means they're all on the same page, which is kind of nice. Okay, mate. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, mate. Interesting seeing that the Kassan's going to be starting Doran's Helm. He really does benefit a lot from those additional stats, so it makes a lot of sense, but he's also going to be
Welcome to Summoner's
poked
Rift.
down a little bit in lane. But as PP is a little bit less comfortable playing top lane, likely isn't really going to be able to punish the Cassante, as Cassante does have Ignite, which is very interesting. I do like the cleanse coming out from the Jinx, as survivability is the name of the game, this specific one. It's not Cassant, it's Cassante. El Rage Bait. Interesting seeing that the Collie ended up going for Fleet this game, rather than something more aggressive like the Electrocute. Just looking to survive lane as best as possible. Thresh flashes onto the Ashe lever something already, and the Ashe has to blow both sums to survive. Really good engage. And punishing the level 2 to level 1 early game out of blue side. As the Ashe is played way too disrespectfully. As Kali, it continues to get chunked out. This range into melee matchup early. Syndra's just now able to get level 3. It's also interesting seeing that the... Oh, nice engage from the Syndra onto this Akali. Akali getting chunked out quite heavily. Does pop her smoke screen. And it's also really interesting seeing that the Ashe is Dorn's bow. Akali pops all our pots. Just live in lane a little bit longer. And now both junglers finishing their clear and looking to fight for this bot crab, but bot lane does have prio, so Mumu should just be able to secure this bot crab. Pantheon could look for something under the Syndra, and as he flashes forward, the Syndra's going to pop flash to get it away from him. It's simply a trade of flashes. But into the aggressive Akali pick. Gonna make the Syndra quite vulnerable. Especially once Pantheon hits level 6. As unfortunately he didn't finish his full clear. And yet again he's down quite a bit on this Amumu. Nice stun from the Syndra onto the Akali. -1. Momo's looking for some of this Cassante here. Does have Q3 to be able to knock someone away if necessary. Is going to miss it and misses the W as well. Now looking for something onto him. Should be able to secure this kill, and the silence ensures that Mumu is able to take him down. The Syndra is now trying to narrowly avoid this engage from the Akali. Looks like he was able to do so. Jinx able to stop that Pantheon's back as a nice hook onto this Pantheon after he jumps forward. He's going to let him survive a little bit longer than he should, as Jinx is barely not able to get that kill. And so the Thresh gets taken down, maybe looking for something onto the Jinx now. Jinx does have Flash and Cleanse if required. Did pop the Flash, but able to hold Cleanse. Oh. It looked like a nice cancelled recall, ending up in Thresh's death. Quite unfortunate. But still a big lead for red side, as the Amumu is quite far ahead in terms of CS, and getting a early kill into the Cassante. Also quite nice. As Mumu on the right side of the map looking for something on the bot lane, as Ashe still doesn't have flash here. Gets certainly to punish that right before drag. Is the wave in a bit of an unfortunate state for the Syndra, as she's able to hit everything onto the Akali. The Akali does have her E on her. But not going to take it. Oh, because I was able to hit a nice Q and then an ult onto this Soraka. The Soraka does have both thumbs up there, and it looks like we're not going to be able to watch that. Does have to pop barrier, and the heal comes out from the Thresh to be able to ensure that they're able to get a little bit closer to this Ashe and Seraphim. They're not going to be able to net anything. As a nice hook onto this Ashe should lead to her death here, as the Mumu is right around the corner and is able to hit the Q onto a minion, unfortunately, as they are finding that massive minion wave. Makes it quite hard for them to be able to get onto this Ashe. The Ashe is able to survive from purely having some nice shielding from the Seraphine, as they did use damn near everything to get her. As Pantheon now looking for something out of the Mumu. The Mumu was spotted though. Nice Soraka heal lets him live, but the Mumu did end up using his flash there. So somehow this Mumu is up 14 CS on the Pantheon. They are the same level. Quite peculiar catch-up XP. Jinx and Thresh, they do spot out the Pantheon and Tribrush. Nice E from the Syndra. Blocks the first part of Akali's ult. Akali's still looking for something here. Just gonna be zoning off the Syndra. Now Cassandra is just going to be proxying in between turrets. Lilo is on the top side of the map if they want to look for another kill, as he doesn't have any magic resist built yet. The only magic resist he's getting is from his starting item. And so he's going to be quite squishy into the double AP, or double magical damage of jungle and top. And Soraka's going to be able to secure that kill there. And Amumu is going to go back to full clearing, as Blue Side was able to secure the first drag of the game. Being that Cloud Drag, next drag spawning Hextech in 430. Grubs are up, and so the Amumu is going to be looking to take those, as Pantheon's on the clear opposite end of the map. As he's still quite far behind in terms of CS. Really good damage from the Syndra onto this Akali. Just looking to force her out of lane as best as she can. But no E on Syndra does make her quite vulnerable. Making it quite hard for her to look for engages. Now Soraka's a level lead on this Cassante. Here goes the Akali engage, able to do the first part of the ult and chunk her out quite heavily. Does have second part of ult, flashes forward and secures that kill after the Syndra popped her flash as well. So a nice kill. Was looking for something under the Akali. He does have Thresh right around the riverbed and misses that second Q. So here comes the Pantheon engaged. Does have a lantern from Thresh, but the Thresh hook is going to be preventing this Pantheon from being able to get on top of them, as the Soraka ult was used there, and a heal coming out from the Thresh ensures that the Akali dies in vain. Oh, nice engage from the Seraphine and Ashe. The instant cleanse immediately after that Ashe ult was hit onto the Jinx. Nicely played, but a little bit too aggressive, seeing that the Thresh was out of lane. But good punish, regardless, from blue side spot lane. There's a flay from the Thresh onto the Ashe. Hook avoided by the Ashe, but still blows her flash. And the Mumu is going to be spotted out by blue side. As the Mumu just waddles around for a little bit and finally recalls. Potentially has Leandry's in base, 1600 gold. He does. And Jinx doesn't want to take the lantern. He's busy with other things. But in lanes like this for the Syndra, I am always curious why mid laners don't go tier 2 boots earlier. Especially since in that lane their boots are upgraded. So it just increased the survivability, as Syndra likely should be building Merc Treads this game, as again the amount of CC provided or output by blue side team comp is quite massive. Nice silence out of the structure to show that Cassandra can't get any really good engage, as the Mu hits a nice Q onto the Akali, but doesn't realize the Pantheon is right around the corner. As he does pop ult, the Akali narrowly avoided that. And another stun onto this Akali as the Syndra ult, paired with the Akali, paired with the Soraka ult, ensures that no one falls from red side. But the Akali does get taken down. The Akali was playing it well at the start, but forgot that enemy team has a Soraka, and now the Cassandra is going to be potentially looking for an ult onto the Syndra to pull the Syndra closer to his turret. Flashes forward, pops ult, pops third Q eventually. Oh, it looks like it was just, it disappeared. And so the Cassandra does get taken down after blowing his flash and ignite and ult. Thresh in the middle of 2 after the Jinx gets taken down. Just gonna flay away that Ashe, but likely just gonna get chased down to the Ashe. Slow is gonna be quite a lot. Ashe still ends up blowing barrier, so I guess he got something for all that hard work. As Mikhail's built first from Thresh. Really like this purchase, as the threat to his backline is certainly not the damage, it's the engage possibility from the Ashe, Seraphine, in Pantheon, as that TP coming out from the Syndra ensures that the Ashe can't get away. And it should mean the second drag of the game is going in favor of red side, as Pantheon's hiding in this bush. It looks like they do know he's there, as Thresh is going to be zoning him off. Q's a little bit short. Yet again, a little bit of a bad smite by the Amumu. But not punished this time around, thank goodness for him. Nice hook out of the Thresh onto the Pantheon, and as the Pantheon gets stunned. Doesn't have E here, as he had to blow it earlier, and the Syndra's able to secure that kill with ult. Yeah, Thresh hook a little bit wide on the Akali, but was able to secure a nice kill for the Syndra. This game going quite smooth for red side so far. The Soraka ultimate spells have been quite unexpected from blue side, as there have been several times where a member of red side has gone quite low and everything blown out of the Akali or the Pantheon, and they're just not able to secure the kill. Looks like Jinx is down a bit of gold, as the Ashe already has first item, down about 900 gold. The Jinx should be relatively close to her first item. Potentially has it on reset. That hook hit. And the Seraphine's going to flash away, but the Seraphine ult popped in exchange for the Threshold, as the Ashe ult popped and the Cleanse used by the Jinx. Thresh is getting lower and lower. The Strock ult finally popped, and the Seraphine is getting lower and lower. The Thresh is going to flash away, trying to get as much as he possibly can, and then Mumu ult popped. And a 2-for-1 in favor of red side, as the TP is coming out, as well as the Pantheon ult. Pantheon is going to be looking to engage with this. Mumu pops W, stuns it for a tiny bit, but unfortunately that Akali TP is just a little bit too late. And so they are not able to secure any further kills. The Thresh flash was a little bit bizarre. But I certainly appreciated the aggression as the Syndra's trying to avoid the Akali, but the Akali is able to pop the Gunblade and ult. Flashes over the wall, but the Akali is able to jump right back over as the Syndra pops ult. Out of anger, out of frustration, as another nice Thresh hook, but not really going to be able to net anything outside of a turret shot and a nice back shot. So Mumu's going to be stealing Pantheon's jungle. He's now with about 40 CS. Oh no, Thresh, don't kill yourself. And he does, as the Akali flashes forward to secure that kill onto the Thresh. Very pointless kill as he wasn't... pointless death as he wasn't holding the wave. And instead he's really put this Jinx in a bit of a pickle, as the Mumu is going to be looking for a gank here. Seraphine and Ashe do not have ult quite yet, as Ashe ult is just now coming up. And Seraphine ult is a few further seconds away. All while the Pantheon was able to take down Rift Herald. I'm curious to see if he's looking to threaten mid-turret or top turret, as those should be the two targets you're looking for in this specific game. As the Ashe ult is popped onto this Jinx, and the Flash ult also popped the Serac ult a little bit too late, unfortunately. It's a very unfortunate turn of events for red side. If anyone wants hot takes or just bad takes in general, just ask Demi his thoughts on something. Thresh popped Mikhail's, but he still dies. Very strange behavior by this Thresh. Kasane tried to use the ult to get Soraka out from under the turret, but barely out of range. Pull her out of that turret. Mumu going a little bit wide with his Q there. Nice stun by the Syndra onto this Akali, but the Akali is in her smoke screen, so should just be able to avoid everything further as Mumu misses his second Q. And the third Q. As he walks depressed back into his jungle. Well, this Soraka's trading pretty well onto the Cassante. Nice hook onto the Seraphine. The Seraphine doesn't have ult quite yet, doesn't have flash or heal, so should just get easily taken down as the Mimikyu is finally able to hit. And he just walks away, but he walks back and is able to secure the kill onto the Seraphine with a second Q. Double TP coming out from here. The Soraka and the Cassandra both coming down. Looking for this Ashe here as the Ashe gets blown up by the Mimikyu. And a huge Cassandra Q as well as the Syndra E, and a nice redemption come down to ensure that red side is not taking very much damage, if any at all, as the healing is so hard for blue side to really match, as this Soraka is an absolute menace. Really good engage from the Amumu Thresh, and even a really nice Syndra stun. Looks like it stunned like at least 2 or 3 members of blue side's team comp. Again, blue side is really focused on being able to engage the backline, but red side is great peel. Oh, the Mimikyu a little bit wide onto the Seraphine. The Seraphine is going to look for something under the Jinx, but the Jinx has cleansed this time. And so she's able to get out of there. And a TP coming out of this Akali looking for something aggressive, trying to get something done as they are not able to get anything done. These straight up 5v5 team comps. Nice Thresh hook onto the Akali, but they should just be trying to run away as best as they can, as the Thresh able to hit another hook onto this Ashe here, flaying back like they're going to be a dead Jinx, as the Soraka ult lets the Jinx live a little bit longer, and a nice Syndra stun yet again, able to pop the Seraphine in exchange for that Thresh, and a Jinx ult able to secure the kill on the Pantheon. The Mimikyu is a little bit shorter than the Akali, but he's still going to be walking forward as the Syndra is able to get more and more damage. I'm curious to see how many stacks he has this game so far. Syndra's 104. I believe the mark that you're looking for on Syndra is 120, so looking really nice so far. As Pantheon, the first person to buy heal cut on his team into this massive nuisance that Soraka really represents. Yeah, a bit of an over-chase from blue side, as they are only able to secure that kill onto the Thresh. In exchange for several of their lives, as blue side is now up about 4k. Uh-oh, Jinx is gonna get caught up with the Akali. Pops those chompers. Trying to run to someone. Doesn't have flash to be able to get away, so she does get barely taken down by the Akali, and the Akali pops her second ult. As the Amumu is looking for an advantage onto the Seraphine. The Seraphine doesn't have ult flash here. Does have ult in a few seconds as the Thresh and Amumu duo are looking to get some kills here. Nice hook by the Thresh onto the Akali to prevent her from doing much more. She does not have a lot of energy right now. And another nice hook. Amumu's going to be able to further engage onto the Akali, but it looks like the person who's going to be taken down is the Pantheon. That's definitely a bit of a surprise as the TP is coming out from the Syndra. And so a bit of a 1-for-1. As well as a few summoner spells used by both sides. As the next dragon is going to be spawning in 2 minutes. This game is incredibly hectic. Incredibly back and forth, which is fantastic for the Soraka as she's able to provide so much value while just sitting top lane, getting minions, getting XP, and getting KP. Calling Red Side's jungle about a minute before the next drag spawns, which Red Side certainly will be looking to contest. Curious to see if they're going to send Cassante straight down to drag and just give Soraka some free time in top lane. "40 seconds. Both teams are looking for this next drag. The stun is hit onto this Akali as she gets chunked down quite heavily. And is able to get out of there. No Amumu ult for this next team fight. Could be problematic, as Soraka is here a little bit earlier than the Cassante. Thresh hook a little bit wide on the Pantheon. But again, they could easily look for a pick. Soraka is trying to hover with the rest of her team. The blue side is a little bit late in terms of 5 members. As a nice stun goes onto the Pantheon. The Amumu is looking to engage on the Pantheon. A nice Seraphine ult onto the backline of red side. As the Syndra and Jinx are trying to avoid the advances of the Cassante, although the Thresh is likely to be taken down. The Soraka ult keeps him up a little bit longer. As again, Cassante is still chasing down after this Jinx. The Jinx has a blower flash, running as best as she can away from this Cassante. Slowly, surely is able to secure that kill. And the Akali at the same time is also quite low, as well as the health bar of Ashe is not very healthy, as again this Soraka is just keeping everyone nice and healthy as long as they're able to survive the initial engage of blue side's team. Level 16 Soraka. Nice engage from the Amumu onto this Seraphine as she has to pop her flash. Potentially the Pantheon's going to be exchanging his life for hers. As the TP coming out of the Akali, but likely too little too late, as Red Side, again, still quite healthy. Hook hits the cannon. So mid-turret goes in favor of blue side. And Akali, Cassante both pathing top to potentially take down this top tier 1. Nice root from the Soraka. Thresh looking for a flank, but doesn't have any other members really nearby. Nice hook. Does get a nice lantern over to the Amumu, looking for something further. The Soraka's a little bit wide. And then an Ashe ult is also a little bit wide as the Pantheon ult is like this out of the Amumu. The move's going to be CC'd for quite a long time. The Cassante ult popped onto him as well. The Amumu ult popped. But now Thresh is engaging for some bizarre reason, so he gives his life away as well. And 2 kills for 0 in favor of blue side, potentially looking to threaten this Baron here, as they did send all 5 members to the top side of the map, while the Cassante is going to have to... No, instead the Kali is going to be resetting to stop this Syndra from getting too much, as the Jinx is threatening mid tier 2, while the Syndra is threatening bot tier 2. So the Baron is going to go in favor of blue side, as the Kali is going to be popping her ult, or the first part of her ult onto the Jinx, waiting for these chompers to finish. And there's the Soraka ult living so incredibly long, barely not able to get that kill onto the Akali, as the Akali is able to run away into the Fog of War, and Ashe was able to secure that kill there. Now 3 items on the Soraka. If they are fighting as 5, I certainly still like red side's chances. Next drag spawning in 3 minutes, but they do have to avoid the Baron push for a few minutes. Looks like the Ashe was eventually able to get the heal cut, but their team so desperately needs this. Syndra just pops the Seraphine, pops Flash as well to avoid that Ashe ult. No Flash Syndra. Good stun on the Pantheon, but not going to be able to convert into anything. The Mumu could potentially look for something here. The Thresh hook a little bit short, as the Mumu Q is just barely long enough, as they get a nice engage onto the Pantheon. The Pantheon gets hooked yet again, but unfortunately just don't have any damage in range. And so those two get taken down yet again, the Amumu and Thresh, as the Syndra gets engaged on by the Cassante, and he secures a kill onto the Syndra, as no Flash makes her quite vulnerable. And now Akali's going to be yet again looking for something onto the Jinx here. It should be able to secure a kill, but does have the Soraka, unfortunately just a little bit too late, as they are going to be looking to jump the Soraka under the turret, but the Soraka does a lot of tools in her kit to be able to survive longer, but just not long enough, as now blue side has a gold lead. There's a few times where the jungle in support of red side have just been played way too aggressive without realizing that the rest of their team is just way too far away. And that's really allowed blue side to really get back into this game. As again, I do believe that straight up 5v5s are certainly favorable, or potentially at this point no longer favorable. But this Syndra, and even the Jinx now that the Jinx is able to secure her Infinity Edge, are quite strong. As the Syndra walks up way too far forward, pops Sonya's after getting hit by the Ashe ult, and does get taken down. And it seems like red side just has a little bit of a misunderstanding of where they can really position or where they can really path, as blue side has really great engage to be able to pick off these members of red side. Lumu's looking for something onto the Akali, is able to secure that, hit that Q. The Jinx is trying to prevent this Cassante from taking down the bot turret. No Chompers is going to be quite vulnerable here. Cassante can easily just walk up and press R. TP coming out from the Soraka. That's the only problem with not going LDR sooner, as Cassante is taking so much damage from the turret. As blue side is going to be a little bit delayed to this team fight. So the Ashe and Seraphine are going to be zoned off of this. Syndra TPing in here. Looking for something under the Pantheon here. Mumu could look for a Q, as the drag is spawned. This would be solo in favor of red side, as the Ashe and Seraphine are off alone, all by themselves. So all vision can be cleared out. So the red side is going to have Such good control, but the Cassandra is going to be TPing behind them, looking for a flank here. It is going to be spotted out by red side, and the Collie's going to be looking for engage with the Cassandra, so the Jinx trying to avoid his advances. They nice Ash ult, as well as a nice cleanse, but the Amumu is going to be looking to engage on the back lane of the blue side. A nice ult to prevent them from getting too far forward, as the Cassandra and Collie just being able to dive the back lane quite easily. Collie flashes forward after the Cinder, and then nice silence from the Soraka prevents that Collie from securing that kill quite as the Collie gets taken down. The Cassandra is looking for something onto the Cinder, and then does get that damage, as the Soraka's going to be the next one to fall, as the Cinder falls soon afterwards. And the Thresh is the lone member of red side, as the engage from blue side was just too much this time. And that potentially, it looks like it's not going to be game quite yet. They certainly could have threatened an end through bot lane or mid there. But instead they're just going to play it safe. They're now up about 5,000 gold. And their backline access is just getting better and better, as it's going to become harder and harder for this Cassandra to get taken down by red side's team comp. At least until the Jinx gets LDR. That would certainly help quite a bit, as a nice Thresh hook onto the Cassandra. And a really quick kill here would be fantastic, as Baron is spawning in 30 seconds, the Lantern used by the Jinx. Cassandra doesn't have flash to be able to get out of here, but does have ult coming up soon. Looking to try and ult out once he gets the moment, and is able to do just that. And the Jinx is able to secure that kill, though. So a lot of swings back and forth between these two teams. Ash right around the corner as the Moon was taking down these chickens. Baron spawning in 5 seconds. No TP available from Cassandra, as he just blew it last team fight for a massive engage. Collie also looking for a flank here, as Pantheon, Seraphine, and Ash are going to be looking to fight them from the front, while the Collie's looking to fight from the back. 5 to 4 members. Are they going to be able to get any good engages here? Akali's still waiting around this corner. Could easily take the Blast Cone over, and it does take it. Looking for a kill into the Jinx. This should be able to pop the Jinx at the very start of the fight. Does just that, but trades her life away. So now a 4v3 in favor of red side. A lot of damage going on to the back lane of red side as the Soraka's the next person getting taken down. The Rev Dash to get popped, but they just don't have the damage, as the Ash nearly takes on the Cinder. The Cinder did have to pop her flash there, but blue side is going to be looking to take down this Baron, and I don't see an easy way back into this game for red side, as they threw a significant lead by just playing a little bit too recklessly. Gets stunned by the Cinder onto this Pantheon, but the Pantheon's going to be able to just look for an engage onto her. Nice Jinx ult and follow-up from the Cinder ensures that Pantheon gets the kill given over, as the Ash ult popped, blocked by the Thresh. Should just be looking for something onto this Akali, as the Akali gets CC'd, as the really, really poor TP. But the Kasani's looking to engage on the back lane all at the same time. Nice Thresh hook to ensure that the Akali's not able to get anything done, as the Jinx clicks forward and the Cassandra trades his life away. And just really poor gameplay decisions from blue side. That Team P out of the Akali really was not what they wanted to see, as Soraka is just going to be catching top waves. I don't believe he has TP yet back up. The visual on the top does not actually express whether or not it's up, so it's impossible to tell, unfortunately.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
But with the push power of Jinx, they certainly could look to end here as a nice stun for the Syndra onto this Seraphine. And now we're looking for something onto the Pantheon, as the Pantheon doesn't have any other team members nearby, and they're going to be living quite a long time. This Pantheon allows him to survive longer than he should, but red side able to secure a kill, and the Soraka ult pop to keep them nice and healthy. Now they're looking for it to end right here. The Akali, Ash are the only people alive. Nice hook onto this Akali. And so she gets popped, and the nice Amumu engage onto this Ash, and the Ash is going to be taken down soon afterwards. The Kassandra's ulting onto the back lane, but is he able to get anything done? Not quite, as the healing of the Soraka is just a little bit too much. And so in this specific game, I would probably say that PP Bandit was MVP. The Soraka was quite the menace, but Really, really poor decision making out of blue side as they should have been able to easily secure this win. I'm down for a PP Bandit interview. Drag PP? I don't have rights, unfortunately. If there's anyone that has... You can't join. Oh, no. Oh, this is the problem. Like, people took my rights away for some reason, so I can't drag people anymore. Even though, like, I probably should have them, but whatever. Just go to red side 1. Hello.
Hey,
That Soraka pick was definitely creative.
I mean, I can play like three champions, so that's what they got.
Those 3 champions are...
Um, well, Swain and Milio and Soraka.
Oh, okay. So they were afraid of the Milio top, that's why they banned it. I see, I see.
Yeah, they're terrified. Don't put me on Milio. You'll get soccer kicks in the face.
Makes sense, makes sense. Yeah, game 1, you guys had really good scaling team comp. It looks like you just held your ground and were able to survive the early game and eventually transition into a nice mid to late game where you guys had Ocean Soul and you also had a really strong Smolder. What was it like trying to just keep your mentals nice and secure and get through the
Um,
troubling
I
early
think
game?
I think we as a team have really good like mental fortitude because we've lost so much. So I think we're just used to it. So like when we're behind, nothing really phases us. We just always try to look for ways to make it work.
Nice, nice. In terms of communications within your team, there's a lot of really nice movement by your team in the first game. There's a lot of problems in the second game where jungle and support were on a totally different uh, game plan than the rest of the team. Who's is there like one specific voice that's really communicating what you guys are looking to do, or is it more multiple
Um,
voices?
So it's definitely so I would say like we Jordan is kind of like the shot caller, I guess, but we don't really practice as a team. We just come together once a week to just play. So there's not really like we don't have that like super awesome team. Like if somebody's doing something we just know, like a lot of other teams do because they practiced and played so much together.
Hmm.
So it's mainly Jordan and we're just kind of a bunch of solo queue guys that have got together and figuring it out.
That's nice. But yeah, the first game, I definitely saw your win condition. I saw the path to victory. You guys had a pretty straightforward team comp. And then the second team comp, of course, when you go with the Soraka top, you were just able to prevent them from being able to secure so many kills with your ult. I can't imagine I can't imagine the frustration that they were experiencing. Was Were you really looking forward to playing Soraka top today, or is it something that just felt right?
Um, it kind of just felt right. It was yeah. So I said like you can let me play like I can play Senna or I can play Soraka, and they chose Soraka, and I think that was the right choice because I just always have fun on Soraka, and I think that was like the biggest thing. Um, I also didn't quite understand why Cassante didn't punish me more than he did. I don't know. I just feel like he could have killed me more times than he did if he just fought me after like level 3, but I don't know. I don't know a whole bunch much about the game, but I was terrified the entire time.
That's fair. Yeah, both games you just held it down in the top lane, and you were able to provide value in team fights, which led to you guys getting really nice team fight wins.
Yeah, the Quinn game, I just cried the entire time. But like after he didn't like fight me on Cassante, I was just like, this guy, whatever, man. I stopped being so afraid because he just didn't want to fight me. So I just said, okay, then we'll just farm and I'll try to get as much gold as I can to just press R. So that's all I was doing was pressing R.
Hell yeah. Well, nice 2-0 series for you guys. Is this the first 2-0
It's
you
our
guys have been
first
able to get?
one. That's crazy. I wasn't like I'm happy that it happened for us.
Yeah,
Shout out to my team. Shout out to Bubba and Freshie for putting us together.
that is true. They did put you together.
Yep.
So now, next week, do you know who you guys are playing?
I didn't even know who we were playing this week. I don't ask me about next week.
You're playing my team next.
Oh, well, get shit on, I guess. I don't know. Sorry. Probably shouldn't swear.
Wait, say whatever you want. Say it from the heart.
No. No, it's okay. We'll have some great matches.
Okay, I look forward to that.
Me
Soraka's banned
too.
though.
I mean, easy. Like relax.
Sure.
Okay, can I leave now?
Yeah. Thanks for
Okay.
playing. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah,
We'll
thanks for
see you
watching, guys.
guys. I imagine there's gonna be more series later this weekend, maybe even potentially tomorrow.